Okay, I've just had a cup of coffee, so I'm gonna need you guys. Like, I don't know what it is, but I get put right after lunch all the time. And so I like double up on caffeine so that I am incredibly hyper and you guys don't fall asleep. Okay, that's my goal. I'm Val Hoeppner. I am proud to say I am the CEO of Me. That's a great way to introduce yourself to people. I'm the CEO of Val Hoeppner Media and Consulting. Yes, I have one employee myself. And what I do is I go around to newspaper companies, television companies, radio companies, and I talk to them about digital and mobile. And I've been doing this for quite a while. I will tell you that I got into digital when I was working in newspapers. I spent 20 years in newspapers. And the whole second half of my career was all digital and multimedia. I accidentally made multimedia, and the rest is history. Strangely, in addition to being the CEO of Me, I also run an NPR music station. And you know, what's interesting about that is leadership's leadership, right? You can lead anything, but how digital and mobile a radio station, a terrestrial radio station has become. And I think all of that to say that we are in an incredible time right now. You guys are in an incredible time. We can reach more people. You know, I used to say, we can reach more people in the digital space. It's really the mobile space now. And I'm going to just put this to you right here, right now. If it doesn't work on mobile, it doesn't work. I mean, I'm going to guess, how many of you guys are working at news outlets professionally, right? Or students. How about students? Put your hands up, right? So I'm going to guess that probably at least 60, if not more, % of your traffic comes from mobile devices. That's typically where my clients are right now. A lot of them are around the 80% mark. So it's an incredible thing. And let's just, you know, talk a little bit here. So I'm going to talk about three things today. I'm going to talk about our audience and a little bit about the future. I'm going to talk about jobs that you need to do, all of you. And then I'm going to talk about some tools that can help you do those jobs. Here we are, it's 2017, almost the end of 2017. 91% of Americans seem to have some sort of a cell phone, right? Your grandma has the flip phone, right? Everybody knows the flip phone. But 81% of Americans have a smartphone. 93% of you 18 to 35-year-olds, that's a huge number, have a smartphone. The majority of American households have a tablet in them of some sort. And the one thing that I think is really encouraging is that 80% of adult Americans access newspaper content on multiple platforms each week. So we know that they're not buying the paper anymore, but they are accessing our content, and we could talk about that for days, about where, you know, which side doors they're coming in, the trap door, you know, the subway system, whatever. But it's good news that they still consider us necessary. In the United States, we spend the majority of our connected time on mobile devices as opposed to desktops now. And in fact, this is where, you know, mobile is nearly double where desktop connectedness peaked. So it is a huge part of what we do. It is the thing that we have with us all the time. And, you know, I started out my career as a photojournalist, and we always said that the best camera you have is Daryl in the back, the camera you have with you, right? So if that's your smartphone, that's a good thing. You have a camera, you have a video camera, you have an audio recorder, you have all these things with you. The other thing that this just came out from eMarketer the other day, and you know, TV lost 3 minutes. That's pretty significant. I'm not going to lie to you. Things are changing around here. You know, desktop time is going down, smartphones are going up, tablets have stayed steady, radio time, you know, down, print time is down. So really the only growth we have right now is in the time spent consuming media on smartphones, right? So it's kind of like a necessary thing. But I want to talk just for a minute about smartphones, because let's be real. If we are focused only on the smartphone right now, we are focused on the wrong things. In 5 years' time, that smartphone that you think is so awesome, whether it's the Note or it's the iPhone 8 or whatever, you think it's so great, it is going to be like your grandma's flip phone in the next 5 years, right? Because lots of wearable things are coming out. There are glasses, and we know about Snap glasses and things like that, you know. I mean, we went through the glass hole period with Google Glass, right? I think this is a totally different thing that's coming, and there's lots of, you know, there's things on your wrists, there's all kinds of things, but also this goofy looking thing that talks back to you, which works on machine learning, is incredibly important to what we're going to do going forward. And I was just talking to my friend Jake over here at lunch, and we were talking about a classic education. And as reporters now, you need to be able to think well, speak well, and write well. All of those things are really, really important. And when I talk about speaking well, think about podcasts and how popular they are and what a great form of communication they are. And then think about voice-activated things that you are going to have to start interacting with. It's coming. You guys are going to have to start using your voices. You're going to have to write well to be able to use your voice well. And you got to think well to be able to do all of those things, right? But it's really important that we not just stand around in place and go, oh, everything's about the smartphone, because it's not. Because we ought to be thinking about what's happening in 5 years, what's happening in 10 years. Amy Webb is a really smart person who calls herself a futurist. She has the best title ever. And she is all over this stuff. And she says that newspaper people and really legacy media people across the board, TV, whatever, are nowists. Think about that. Are you a nowist? We're just trying to get the skills that we need to do our job today, right? And that's the cycle that we're in newspapers. And I hope it's a cycle that I can encourage you a little bit to break away from. The skills that I'm going to talk about today, the jobs to be done, and some of the apps that we can use, are all things that you should be incorporating and things that I think will move forward with you into the next 5 and 10 years, okay? So I'm not going to blow your mind with AI or any of that kind of stuff. I'm going to talk about things that are happening right now and things that you should be taking note of. So what we learn here on the smartphone, as I said before, are going to help us when we're God knows what, right? I mean, like the, you know, iOS 11, now you can download the Apple AR kit, right? And do augmented reality yourself. You can develop this stuff. It's all there for you. So you guys need to start taking some time and finding out what all this stuff is. But let's talk about, you know, there he is. I can't make this stuff up, people. It's an interesting time to be in the news business, for sure. And the beast is hungry. And I'm not talking about our president. I'm talking about our mobile devices. I'm talking about our audience, and I'm talking about our app that we need to constantly be feeding, right? So the first thing that I think you should know is video. Video is incredibly important. How many of you guys are shooting video for your jobs right now? Oh, this is pretty good. I go into a lot of rooms and like about 3 hands pop up. So I'm really glad to see that you guys are shooting video. The thing about video, and especially mobile video, is what's your goal, right? You need to know what your goal is with it. Is it to inform people? Is it to just get clicks, right? I mean, you know, CPMs, you guys know what that is, cost per mil? Back when I started shooting video, we used to get $5 for 1,000 views on a video. And that's why all the media companies, like in 2006, were like, stop, we're not going to do that anymore, right? Nowadays, the average for newspapers is $35 per CPM, so $35 per 1,000. But it goes up to like $55 and $65 depending on the content. So like the Houston Chronicle during the hurricane, You know, all those quick hit videos that they were doing showing damage, they were getting above $65 per CPM because of something called header bidding, right? Do you know what header bidding is? I can't go into those weeds too much today, but basically it allows companies to sell, basically it's like an auction all the time. And topically, if a video is you know, something that's really breaking, something that's really hot, trending, whatever, that gets a higher CPM, right? There's an auction, a constant auction going on for video content. And there's a supply and demand issue. I mean, the supply is not great enough for all the advertisers that actually want to put their message against your video content. So that's why your bosses are like, you gotta get video, you gotta shoot video, even shoot 30 seconds, shoot 15 seconds, right? You're laughing, you've heard this, right? Or you're the boss that says this. Yeah, that's it, But that's why, because it's all about CPMs, but you know, we can't be all about CPMs. We need to inform people, we need to you know, have a purpose. And you know, being a good storyteller is your purpose. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. So if you want to come to the hands-on session tomorrow about smartphone video, I'm going to talk about that. But let's talk about a couple of things here. This is the app that I use. My friend Judd back there, he's going to talk about crazy apparati that you can put on your phones to scale up the quality. But I'm going to talk about, a couple of apps that I use. I like to use something called Movie Pro because it allows you a lot of control. It costs you $4.99, so I'm not going to lie, you do actually have to pay for this. But it lets you listen live to the sound that you are recording. And if you know anything about shooting video, you know that audio is the most important part of video. Because if you have good audio and you have crummy video, it's okay, people are going to hang with you. But if you have crappy audio and beautiful video, people are out. It's a sensory thing. If we can't hear and understand it, it's a problem. So being able to plug in your headphones and listen as you're recording is really important, because am I close enough to the subject? Is my mic in the right place? Should I move out of the wind? Yes. Right? All of those things are important. So Movie Pro allows you to do that, and that's really my number one reason for using it. I think it's really got a good user experience. It's very easy to navigate through. It has lots of manual controls, so you can manually set your exposure, your white balance, your focus point, all of that. I think it's really important. The bonus here is that it has a built-in single track of video editing. Now, I'm a person that likes to multi-track edit, but you know, for quick social media kind of things where you're cutting and putting words on things, this is a perfect solution for that. And by the way, some of America's cutest children are on the screen right now. They might happen to belong. You will see a lot of them throughout this presentation. The other thing I'll say is video editing is a crucial skill. And you know, at lunch, Jake and I and my friend Daryl were talking about the fact that if you don't know how to edit video, you actually don't know how to shoot video. And that's the God's honest truth, because if you don't know what you need to tell a story, how in the world are you going to shoot video? And I'm going to have a confession here. The very first time I shot a documentary, this hurts a little. It was a 30-minute documentary I was working on, and I shot 27 hours of tape, not digital, tape. So I've spent more than a day of my life watching video go into a computer. It was awesome. But, you know, learning how to really edit and really, you know, be efficient in my editing taught me to be a better shooter. And that's one of the things I will talk about tomorrow. But my choice on the iPhone is iMovie to edit, because it is a multi-track editor. And if you're an iPhone person and you know you get your new iPhone and you say, yeah, I want to download iMovie, it's free, right? A lot of these other apps are like $9, $10, whatever. to be able to edit multi-track video. There are very few of them out there that do multi-track video, and that means that you can have multiple tracks, 2 tracks of video and 2 tracks of audio. Okay, so A-roll and B-roll. Is this all sounding familiar? Right, so iMovie lets you do that. If you want to learn more about iMovie and learn about strategies for editing video, there is a resource, and I'll tweet it out after this session, on my website that is, it's there for you. Share it. If you're an educator, use it, share it, pass it around, whatever. That's voiced over, and sometimes you just miss me and want to hear my voice again. But it's all me walking you through all the steps of editing in iMovie. The reason to do multi-track editing as opposed to single track is that it's much more sophisticated. So if you are doing a broadcast package, you can do a broadcast package here. You can even, voice track right here in iMovie. But it is just a more sophisticated way to edit video. So I encourage you, when you get your new phone and it says, do you want to download this? All you kids are like, ooh, that's too many megabytes. That's too big an app. I don't want to download that. Just download it, trust me on this. Because otherwise you have to pay $5 for it, and you don't want to do that. Okay, now if you're on an Android, there is not a great solution for multi-track editing, in my opinion, at this point. Do you have anything back there, Judd?
KeyMaster.
Yeah, that's the one. And the thing about KeyMaster is, at least my experience, it doesn't work on every phone. You have to have the latest and greatest Android phone and a lot of internal memory kind of things, a lot of computing power to make it work right. But if you're one of those people that's not on the latest and greatest Samsung, Video Shop is both an iPhone and an Android app. And it's a pretty cool little app for a couple of reasons. One, it's just real simple little editor. It's really easy to put text over it. But one of the things that I kind of like about it is that you can edit social videos. So you can upload a bunch of video into this thing, and it will tell you, this is the length of an Instagram video. This is the length of a Snapchat video. And so you can actually edit the same piece of video for multiple social media. So kind of cool, and you can upload directly from the app into most of these. Every time Snapchat changes their voodoo, it takes them a few months to actually make it upload, but most of the time I can upload directly to Snapchat from Video Shop. You had a question back there, young man. You figured it out?
No, I'll ask you later.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah. You make me feel young. One of the things that is new out there and that I've been talking about just very recently, in fact, I met with these guys at ONA, what was that, a week, 2 weeks ago? I can't even remember anymore, is Cinemaker. This is a pretty cool thing. And if your newsroom is doing a lot of live streaming, and yet you don't have a big video crew to do live stream production, or you want to do higher end live streams, more of a show-like, this is a great opportunity for you. Cinemaker allows you to put 4 cameras on a Wi-Fi network, right? And you have to have an iPad. You have a director's pad, which is an iPad, and then you can have 4 iPhones, you can have 2 iPhones, a DSLR, and a GoPro, anything with that Wi-Fi enabled. Panasonic robotic cameras that have Wi-Fi capabilities can be brought into this thing. So you can have 4 cameras, and you can also have 4 additional audio assistants. So what happens is, I'm the director, 4 of you guys download the Cinemaker Capture app, and when I turn on my app, and you are in proximity, within 100 feet of me, these cameras, right? We can capture this and go live, and I can sit there and cut and say, oh, I like her tight shot. Ooh, I like that wide shot over there. Oh, I like that medium shot. And I just pick and choose which shots, and it's live. So it can go to Facebook Live. It can go just about anywhere, like HLS is a codec or link that you can use to go to things like View House and stuff like that. But there's lots of ways to use this thing, and I'm pretty enamored with it right now. I've just started testing it. My oldest son, he's in a broadcast club at school, and so we're going to use this to do their newscast because they want to do it all from their phones. So pretty exciting stuff, and I'll just play this for you so you can kind of see it.
Cinemaker is the mobile professional solution for multi-camera productions. Cinemaker consists of 2 apps, your primary control center, the Director Pad, and the Cinemaker Capture app. With the Director Pad, you can remotely control all of your angles, place text and graphics directly onto your live stream, and manage audio levels for each device. Connect up to 4 smartphones, compatible IP cameras, or any HDMI encoder-friendly modern camera. Live stream and record HD videos, edit, manage, and distribute in the palm of your hand.
Pretty cool, right? I mean, and for free, you can use 2 cameras. So you can have 2 cameras on this for free. You can use that for free. If you're not using the free, it's like $50 a month, which is really not that much money if it's something that you're really invested in doing. You have a question, young lady.
So the iPad is the one that captures all the footage, or each camera captures footage too?
No, it's all going into the iPad. And so you can be streaming live and recording it, or you can just record it and re-edit it later. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's neat the way it works. I'm excited about trying it out. So if you're looking for that kind of a solution, download those things if you've got an iPad and give it a shot. Is there a problem?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what happened?
Okay.
Oh, it was just simple. The video was over. It's okay. Everyone relax. Okay, so one of the other skills that is not going away is photojournalism. How many times a day are you hear, by the way, get a photo with that because it's going on the web, right? You've got to get photos to go with things. Our websites, our mobile sites, our social media are all incredibly visually driven. And let me just say the reason for that is, and the reason video is so important now, is that this generation now, these 18 to 35-year-olds, are much more visually literate than people were in my generation. I'm making myself sound like I'm really old. I'm really not that old. But it is true that this younger generation is much more visually literate. And they learn through video. You know, they are the DIY group. And so that kind of content is really important to them. But still, photography is still an important part of what we do in journalism. And so I'm going to give you a couple of, whoops, this thing keeps jumping ahead. Hello, go back, there. Your native camera is fine. It's fine, but I am a fan of VSCO, which is a free app. It's available on the Android and the iPhone. And basically, it allows you to control your focus point, your exposure point, all those things. It also allows you to do some basic editing and also post directly from the app to social media, right? So you can write your post in there and send it to Facebook and send it to Twitter. And I'm a really big fan of anything that any app that you can decrease the number of steps you have to make, right? So if I'm going to shoot a picture for Twitter and I can put it, through VSCO and send it right up because I know I'm on a deadline. Look, the deadline was 30 seconds ago, right? That's how the world is today. So anything that I can do to reduce steps, I'm a fan of, okay? So this one is great for that kind of thing. And again, you can tweak the exposure and things like that if you're interested in doing that. Another one of America's cutest children. We were on a photo safari, that's William. Filter Storm is a great, Adobe hates it when I say it's Photoshop for your iPhone, but it's better Photoshop for your iPhone. It has all of the things that photojournalists want, like history brushes and curves and all that stuff. But for the lay person, it also has all the things that you need, the basic toning, all that. You can also caption your images in here, and you can export to social media, or more importantly, to FTP, which is where your live system is, right? So your designers, your web desk, they're all pulling pictures from something like Merlin or back in the day, the Leaf Desk, CCI, those kinds of things, right? There's an archive of all those images, and you need to be able to send your stuff, rather than emailing it to the web editor and expecting him or her to put it into the system after they've put it online. That is not happening. And we are losing a lot of photos because of that. We're losing a lot of video clips and things like that, because what happens is they put it up online and then they delete it from their email, and you delete it from your phone, and it never got archived, right? This is happening all the time. So things like FilterStorm are a great solution for that, because you can FTP directly in. Now you need somebody to help you set that up, but it's really not that bad. The other thing that's great about FilterStorm, and it's been around for a hot minute, it was really made for photojournalists, is the fact that you can embed captions in it. And that's what makes this a better photo editor than, Snapseed and some of those, is that you can actually embed your metadata. So it goes everywhere that your photo goes. So if your web desk puts it up, the caption is there for the digital side. If your designer pulls it pulls it into CCI and uses it, the caption is there. If you put it on social media, the caption it's there. That's really important anymore. And then here's your FTP stuff. Now, I'm going to fully disclose, go back, that TruePix is an app company. I am a part of this app company, okay? So full disclosure, I don't want you to run out and buy this because I'm involved with it. But TruePix is an app that allows you to shoot still images and to shoot up to 2-minute videos and send them directly from your phone into your archival system. And what it does is it takes that full frame image, squashes it in the middle, and spits it back out full size on the other end. We've got a lot of users of this. The Houston Chronicle, the Hearst papers are using this. The Washington Post uses it. Tampa Bay Times, the Associated Press. Tons and tons of freelance photographers. The Dallas Morning News, lots and lots of people. In fact, the Houston Chronicle used this a ton during the hurricanes just a few weeks back, and actually took the time to send us a note in the middle of all that and told us that they couldn't have done the coverage they did without this app, right? Because it sends it directly into your system, and you don't have to fill out all that goofy stuff. We send you an agency code, you put it in one time, and it populates everything that you need to know. It has all the same caption information that's out there. So you can use this for free as an individual. You can set this up and set up your paper's FTP in it. It's great. It also will automatically say, hey, by the way, do you want to send this image by email as well? And it'll send the image and caption. So if you are trying to make your web desk happy, you're sending it directly to the archive, and you're also sending it to the web desk. So if you have questions about it, you can go to truepix.com, or you can ask me afterwards. I'm happy to answer anything you can come up with. So that's enough about us. But it is very useful. So, I talked about your voice and how important your voice is, and other people's voices, right? Audio is a really critical part of what we do nowadays, whether it be a podcast, whether it just be that you're recording. How many of you guys record your interviews now? And then your editor gets mad at you. Raise your other hand. When your editor gets mad at you for sitting and transcribing, audio forever. She's laughing. You did it. Right? So I'm going to talk about a couple of apps. I can also talk about things, transcription services if you want. Couple of things. So, well, that one says audio. Interesting. This is an app, well, I'm going to talk about several apps in here, I guess. Abby Text Grabber is a solution for scanning documents. There are lots of things that allow you to create a PDF of something, right? But I'm a big fan of Abby Text Grabber because what it does differently is a couple of things. Number one, when you hit the translate button, what it does is it turns that text into editable, cut, copy, and paste kind of text, right? It is digital text now that you can actually put into the middle of a story. So for example, if you're doing a story and there's a big press release that has like a search warrant and all the things that they're searching for, well, instead of retyping all that, and you may want to post the documents as a whole online, right? You're grabbing the scans of it, but then you can digitize that text, copy and paste it into your story on your phone, and send it in, right? And it's very accurate. The reason I shot, I'm a soccer coach, by the way, as well. This is a concussion form that we use. And I wanted to shoot something that had kind of weird formatting so you could see how it works. This is that text. It is really, really accurate. This is the same technology and the same company that does digital conversion for attorneys and courts, right? So there's a big software, and they have like the clerk that scans all this stuff for attorneys and turns it into digital text for them. The other thing that I think is pretty cool is that it translates between languages. And so the way I have used it is if my Spanish is, right, más cerveza, por favor. I know how to order a beer, ask for the bathroom, a few things, right? But I've been in situations where I needed to read text. One of those situations is I was doing training for the Poynter Institute, and it was a Danish group of journalists, and they sent me all their statistics, and that was great, to prepare for my talk with them, except that they're all in Danish, and what? So I actually used my phone. I printed it all out and used my phone to translate everything so I understood what I was looking at. And I've had several Spanish speakers tell me that this is pretty accurate. It recognizes 60 languages and it translates between 40 different languages. So, for example, if you have a Vietnamese newspaper or a Vietnamese document, and you need to translate that so that you understand it and translate it back, this is actually a pretty useful little tool. So it's not a cheap app. It's usually between $7.99 and $9.99. But if you're somebody that deals with a lot of documents and thinks that you're doing a lot of reporting on your phone, this is a good one for you. Tape a call. Anybody need to record your cell phone calls? Right? And how many of us have tried the free Google Voice and it doesn't work, right? It's just not a good tool for me. It's not very stable. And the problem with Google Voice is that you can only record incoming phone calls. So you would have to call your source and go, "Hi, would you call me back at this number?" So that, creepy, right? So that we could record this. This tape a call, you pay for it one time. There is no limit on the number of times that you use it, the length of the interview. I did a 2-hour conversation on this thing. It worked like a champ the whole time. I had to plug my phone in, but other than that, no problem. And you can listen back on your phone, or you can download it to your desktop, things like that. You can record it. It records it in WAV file format. So for those of you who might use something in a podcast or in a video, or just have the reason to have that high quality, you can do that, or you can email it out or export it out as an MP3 to put it up online quickly. So there are all kinds of options with it. I really like it. And I'll play just, one of the things I talked about is I like apps that I can move between other apps. This one, you could go to email, but it also goes directly to Rev, which is a transcription service. You can send it to your Dropbox and your Google Drive. I'm a big fan of getting files off my phone. Even though I buy the largest capacity phone, I have a lot of stuff on my phone. You can also send it to your Evernote, which is something that I use a lot of. And then I don't know why you would post it to Facebook, but maybe you would. I don't know. Crazy talk. But I'll play a little of this. Just so you can you hear? Hey, whoops, go back.
You really helped
Just so you
organize
can hear both
the
sides of
occupation
this.
at Alcatraz. If you can just, give me a quick little bio about yourself.
Wow, that's hard to do.
Well, it doesn't have to be
but I'll
quick,
try.
but yeah, whatever you can.
Well,
So
I was
you get the
a first
idea, right?
American
This is,
student
I
at
have used audio off of that on the radio. It works pretty well. If you're not sitting in an office where you have a Gittner device ready to record, this is a great second solution. And it's also obviously great for reporters that need to record things. You're in the car, you're at the grocery store, and your source finally calls you back. It works pretty well. So they've had a lot of changes in the way that audio and audio apps work on iPhones recently. This is look, I'm a big fan of an app that A, has a big red button because I am incredibly farsighted, but B, things that record in WAV file format. Again, because you never know, especially as a multimedia journalist now, we're all multimedia journalists now, and so being able to record in WAV file format and get that out of your phone onto whether it's Final Cut or Premiere or Audition or whatever, that's really important to me. And obviously you can use external microphones to improve the sound quality. Again, it connects to, you can AirDrop things, you can Google Drive things. It goes to the places you need it to go to. So this is a good one. There's a free version that allows you to email out files. I think the paid version is like 99 cents or $1.99. So I have the $1.99 version because I like to be able to send things over to my Google Drive and share them quickly. So that's that one. So a few things. How many of you guys are doing your own social media at your papers? And yeah, a few of you. How many of you have like dedicated editors that are doing your stuff? Lots of you? Some of you? Are any of you, some of you not doing social media? Oh, good. Well, you're not that class. So a couple of things that I like. Look, Hootsuite is great. If you are the social media manager for a news company, it's a great piece of equipment, a great piece of software, a great app. But most of us are not those people. We just want to post our stuff, post things that we want our readers and our audience to see. And I kind of fell in love with Buffer a few years ago. And for free, you can manage a bunch of different accounts. And what I tend to get up I was up at 5:30 this morning, and I read lots of blogs. Nobody else is up at 5:30 in the morning, so if I tweeted 5 things at 5:30 in the morning, nobody's going to be paying attention. Nobody's going to see anything that I've said because, right, nobody's up. And I could sit and I could schedule each one and take the time to do that. That's a pain. I don't have time for that. But what Buffer lets me do is just toss them in there, and I can rearrange the order. And what Buffer does is it studies your audience and your audience habits, and it creates for each one of your social media a custom posting schedule. And so this is on that's my Twitter account. Those are the times of the day that my Twitter audience is most likely to be paying attention. And so I may tweet 4 times a day. It looks like I'm really on top of stuff. I was up at 5:30 in the morning reading stuff and putting it into my Buffer. You can use Buffer as an extension on Chrome and Safari and all that stuff too. It's a pretty cool little tool. I use it. I have to say I've been using it for, almost since it came out. And in the first year that I was using it, I have to say my retweets and my engagement doubled. Just because I was hitting my audience at the right time, because as we all know, social media is like drinking from a fire hose now, right? The fire hose is always on, and we are expecting our audience to always be ready for our tweet or our, engagement, and they're not, right? They're just not. So you've got to, the other thing that's kind of cool about Buffer is that you can throw things back in there for the weekend and retweet them so that you're your audience is seeing things later on in the week. Give them another shot at it. One other fun little app that I've discovered is called Canva. Does anybody use Canva? Yeah, it's a cool little app. I like it because you can create little social media graphics and things, and you have to have a little bit of design sense. But to make the happy birthday card into something that you would put out for your radio station or whatever. But I use it a ton because we're a very small staff at the radio station, and I don't have time to open InDesign and design every single thing. So I've set up a bunch of templates and things, and we use them over and over. One of the things that I think is really cool, though, is that on your phone and on your iPad, it allows you to create Snapchat graphics and geo filters. And that's kind of attractive to me. There's a little, see, it's new. And you can make graphics to go to your story, but it's kind of cool that you can do your own little geo filter and submit it. So kind of a cool little app. Here's a Facebook. Well, you can't see Sam in the background, but you can do little Facebook headers. You can do Instagram posts, and it's sort of like like the Daily Beast has all these really cool digital designers. Well, you can come up with your own template and then just change that out, just like they. I don't know if you follow them on Instagram. If you don't, you should. They do a really nice job of pulling quotes and things like that. And you can do that routinely just like they do, just set it up in there and duplicate it, right? So kind of a useful little tool. Whoops, hey, easy there, Francis. This thing's like on fire. I've never had to do that. Adobe Spark Video. How many of you guys have ever used this? How many of you guys are doing text on video? A few of you, okay. If you're looking for a free way to do it, Adobe Spark is a free, if you sign in, get an adobe.com name and password, you can use this and Adobe Posts and things for free. It also tags something goofy on at the back that says this was made in Adobe Spark. But if your newsroom has Creative Cloud, which most newsrooms do, you can use this without getting the little weird tag on it. And it's a pretty easy way to build a story with text over something. Text over video, text over stills. You can also add voiceover in this. It's really easy to use on your phone, and it's really an efficient way. When you're, most of the time, like our social media, pieces, maybe they're going to have like 5 to 7 slides in them. And I say slides. It could be video, it could be stills, it could be a combination of the two. So it's a great way to easily do that. Type in your text, and you're off to the races. You can put in background music if you want to. I'm not a big fan, but whatever. And then again, you can post it directly to your social media, or you can download it and upload it with other tools. So that's a pretty slick little workaround. God dang it, stop. I am not doing any of this, I promise you. And I insisted I use my own clicker for this very reason. How many of you guys are using if this, then that? Wow, not very many of you guys, a few. If this, then that is a really cool, especially tool for social media. It allows you to set up little things that run in the background on your phone and just magically happen, right? They call them recipes. One of my favorite recipes, actually, when you post to Instagram and you want to tweet that photo as well, it actually posts your Instagram photo to Twitter as a native Twitter photo instead of a link. It actually posts it. I'll show you. And then go to the next slide. Hi, there it is. Right, so that shows you that one. I mean, you can do all kinds of things on there. I save a backup of all my contacts. Every time I add a new contact, the little applet will run, and it saves it to a spreadsheet in my Google Drive. If you want to know every time the President of the United States signs a bill, there's an applet for that. My other favorite one that there's this one. You can have all your photos emailed to your to an email, or you can actually send all your photos to Google Drive. Those are all things you can do. This one I've actually used to get myself out of a meeting. Oops, go back. Hey, stay there. Yeah, right? Get yourself out. You can actually set it up to like, oh, I hate these people go. Faculty meeting, right? I got to go. My kid's on the phone and he cut his knee. I'm out. But yeah, it's, there's all kinds of things in there that are really useful. Lots of them involve social media. I have a Tumblr account that mirrors my Instagram account just to have a duplicate of what's going on. So you can run all these different applets. It's worth exploring. Put the app on your phone. If you're an Apple Watch person, which I am, and I'm a runner, so there's a lot of buttons and things that allow me to go, make notes right into my Evernote. I run a lot and come up with crazy ideas, so I like to make notes while I'm running and do all that. I'm not going to stop and do all that stuff. So the last app that I want to mention, and let's see, what time is it? Oh, perfect. Is one that you should all download. Now, when I was a young journalist, I sound like an old codger. When I was Jake's age, we used to get these blue cards, and it said, I'm a journalist, and these are the sunshine laws, right? Some of you guys in the back remember these things? I still have one in my briefcase, by the way, if you'd like to see it. But it would tell me what rights I had. I had the rights to get these documents. I had the rights to record audio, whatever my rights as a journalist were. And we carried that around in our wallet. Well, now, this really great guy from the Reporters Committee, he's an attorney, and he taught himself to code so that he could make this app and a FOIA app and a couple of others that allow you to see all of the federal laws concerning journalists and access, and all of your states. So you can download your state's laws onto this app. And anytime you go in and you say, hey, I'm going to shoot video at this town council meeting, they say, no, you can't do that. Well, according to the statute here, I can actually record video at this town council meeting, right? And so you can pull that out and say to them, no, really, this is the law. And if they argue with you, the best thing that these guys do is that if you go back to the home screen of the app, you can just call their hotline and they'll argue your case for you for free, which I kind of love, right? This is a nonprofit group. They're an amazing group of people, and download the app and support them. It is a great tool for journalists, especially in today's climate. And it updates all the time. Every time there's a new court case or a new precedent or a new law passed, it gets updated in here. They're very good at keeping this up to date. You remember this thing, right? Really, really important. I worked with John Siegenthaler for many years, and I am a passionate defender of and a passionate educator about the First Amendment. So keep it in mind. It is your mantra. It should be. And then the last thing, this is the slide where I stopped talking. But I thought, since I have about 6 or 7 minutes here, I'd ask you guys, do you have something that you want to do on your phone but don't have an app for? Well, you just put it on vibrate and you lay it across your back and you have your friend call you over and over. No, you use the meeting button, then you have it. Yeah. Anybody, can you think of something? Yeah. Composing text?
Composing text that's more than
that
much.
So twofold. I use Evernote. I use Evernote way more than I use Office in any situation. I use it on my laptop. I use it on my desktop. I use it because it's a cloud-based thing. And so even if I have a crazy idea and I'm in the grocery store, I can have it, right? But this is a twofold answer. One is I use Evernote, and two, I have a keyboard called a ZAG keyboard. It is a Bluetooth keyboard, and it folds up into something that literally is like this big and like this deep. And I can stick it in my back pocket. It is half the size of your reporter's notebook. And yet it folds out into a Bluetooth, almost full-size keyboard. And that is something I keep telling news companies, you guys need to buy Bluetooth keyboards for these guys because you're asking them to do a ton of typing and a ton of filing from the field, and they're not, really able to do that. So that's a really great little keyboard. It's less than $60. So anybody else have a problem they need help with? This is the therapy session. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
I don't have a problem. Just a question regarding app or software or any other tool that can be useful for uncover sensitive topics, kind of safety or security way of deal with the data in teams reporting sensitive issues, I think. So just an example, Panama Papers developed one, I don't remember if it was an app or a software, in order to keep the information and the network under certain kind of security environment. So I don't know if there is something that it will be good to keep in mind for this kind of assignment.
That's a great question. Does anybody, because there was an app that allowed people to upload into a secure location, and I think a lot of newsrooms actually have internal apps and things that allow them to upload into a secure location that is password protected. But I don't know of one that is open source necessarily. So that's a bad answer, sorry. Anybody else? Anybody else got a problem? One of the things I mentioned is that we're doing a lot of recording of interviews, and there's a lot of transcription that's going on. You're the offender that your editor's like, come on, hurry up, I want that. There's a couple of apps that I tend to like. Rev is one. You can record in it. I'm not a fan of doing that because it's not the best recorder, but you can upload a file through that app, and you can get machine transcription. It's not a ton of money. There's a new one too, based in the UK called Trint, Trint, and it is all machine-based transcription, and it's only like $9 an hour. Which, especially for somebody that is doing like a documentary, like my 27 hours of tape, sweet Jesus, I would have paid $9 an hour to transcribe that stuff. But no, I did it myself because that's who I am. But seriously, like that kind of stuff is invaluable to your time to be able, even if it's not 100% accurate, being able, if you're working on video and things like that, and social media videos, from longer interviews and stuff, it's a great way to do that. Yeah. Yes, he's coming with them. Look at him run. Now you back there, you're next.
Along the same lines of transcriptions. Oh my God, captions. Do one of these things that you just mentioned today?
Actually do like closed captioning kind of.
Right, closed, yes, I'm just like tired or something. Yes, closed captioning. Did one of these things you showed us today do that as well?
Not exactly. I mean, you can do it manually, but they're not going to, you would take that transcription and just paste it in.
Like YouTube will take a stab at it.
YouTube will take a stab at it, but none of these kind of things that I showed you would do that. Yes?
I actually work here at NCSA. I have a project doing speech-to-text auto captioning.
Cool.
The stuff that's out there will work for about 20 to 30 seconds. And then after that, it all goes off the rails and you get gobbledygook. We're working on it, but
I like it.
There's nothing out there.
Work faster.
For your for your 10 to 20 seconds, you might get something that's usable. Beyond that, I would say you're unlikely to get a half hour. Right. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think the best way is to have it transcribed and then just copy it back in. Yeah, it's not the best answer. I hope that somebody does it, and I know that people are, You know, I talked to the Trent people about that when I saw them a couple of weeks ago, and they think that's a lovely idea, and they'll put it on their list. That's what I get that a lot. He's coming with the mic. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I was thinking about like editing inside a video app, like editing video inside an app. I know for my classes we use like Videolicious or something, but you can't turn off the audio. Like if you want to use B-roll or something, you have that background noise when you're trying to make like a clip in 30 seconds. It's like,
I would say iMovie. I'm a big fan of iMovie because you can actually adjust the audio. So you can turn it on and off. And because it's multiple tracks, you can have just, you know, white noise and turn off the, you know, if you have bad B-roll sound, if it's just wind blowing in the mic, you can still use the B-roll and just kill the audio. Yeah, because you can separate the audio in that one. How many of you guys use Videolicious? Yeah, one brave soul, two brave souls. It has its uses. For anybody that actually knows how to edit video, it's sort of a frustrating thing. But one of my clients uses it, the Hearst company uses it a lot. But a lot of people are editing outside of it and just using it to upload to the NDN player on the back end. So, anybody else? I have 1 minute. 1 minute. I'll start singing. I swear, and it's bad. Let's see. Gosh, I could tell you stories. Come on. What else? What other problems do you have? What are you trying to do with your phone? Yes.
Hi, I'm Mecca, and I'm a grad student at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. This is just a comment, but you said what we're trying to do. So my first year of grad school, we had to create a quote unquote app for class or whatnot. And I wanted to create an app for young grad students and young professionals of color on college campuses, quote unquote, like predominantly white campuses, to get together and to know each other. Facebook is great, but if you don't know who's on Facebook, then you're not able to connect with them. So that's what, I tried to do. It's still, in a project somewhere lost in my computer somewhere, but that's what I was trying to do, create an app so that we can get together, know each other, and do great things.
Are you guys using like SMS, and are any of you guys using like SMS chatbot kind of stuff? Anybody getting into that in your newsrooms? Is anybody doing chatbots? Those things are crazy. If you guys went to Emily's presentation earlier from Quartz, it's really exciting and interesting stuff, and stuff like that might be a solution for you to, if you could collect the phone numbers or like the Facebook names, you could do that kind of stuff through Messenger using Dexter, which is a bot, a simple free bot programming tool. So. All right, well, this is officially when I stop talking. Thank you guys, you were delightful. I'll see you tomorrow.